At its core, e-learning is about enhancing student learning by complementing effective teaching strategies with the appropriate use of technology. It is not about replacing teachers, but rather assisting quality teaching practices. What effective teachers do has been well documented in the CEO discussion paper, The Learning Framework. Some of the elements we chose to focus on include that effective teachers enhance learning capacity by providing students with the opportunity to engage with relevant multimodal media. They create a learning environment that engages students in their learning. They personalise learning by adjusting the content, process and product to meet the learning needs of their students, and use assessment to inform learning and teaching through the use of effective and timely feedback. Certainly, our aims were based around attempting to create a more engaging learning environment, whilst developing students' skills in reflecting about their learning. One of our aims as educators is to engage our students in higher order thinking tasks, moving away from simply recalling information to getting students to evaluate and create new knowledge. Whilst this is a worthy goal, we must also be mindful that in order to be effective in the higher order domains, we must ensure that the base of the pyramid is broad and strong. The focus of our iLeArn project this year has been about helping our students with special needs, helping them to consolidate their base so that they too may be able to better participate in more higher order pursuits. Whilst the priority of the project was aiding students one-to-one with a writing activity, the process we are reporting on today has also been used within mainstream classrooms. The concept is based around a very traditional literacy strategy: dictation. A discipline of weakness at our college identified in the 2009 NAPLAN test was in the area of writing. One of the strategies used to try and improve the boys' writing was dictation. Dictation allowed the opportunity to revise content, model specific writing styles, as well as test the ability of the boys to translate the spoken word into text. The very mention of the word dictation took me back to my old primary school classroom many years ago. It is tempting to dismiss dictation as a worthwhile activity because it seems old-fashioned, boring, and very teacher-centered. The reality is that completing a dictation exercise is quite a complex task, a very difficult process, especially for our ESL, LeBoat and special needs students. A fact that did not go unnoticed in Australia's past, when dictation tests were used as part of the White Australia policy to ensure that unwanted arrivals were not allowed to stay in this country. Traditional dictation lessons can be fraught with problems, especially when working with high school boys. Students can find the task boring, especially if the passage is not carefully selected. Students can disrupt possible learning by constantly interrupting the dictation with distractor questions and statements, such as constantly asking for the repetition of words, suggesting the teacher is reading too fast or too slow, "Sir, my pen's broken," etc. This becomes even more of an issue in unstreamed classes where a range of literacy and oracy abilities can make running the traditional dictation very difficult. What we set about doing was personalising the process, allowing students to work more at their own pace, using the tools available to them on their computer, and providing a more timely feedback to the student about their performance. A passage was prepared and read into the computer using software such as Audacity or GarageBand. This was then stored as an MP3 file and saved to a suitable location. This could be simply sitting on a file server, placed on an MP3 player, but in our case we placed it on a wiki page that also contained text-based instructions about the task. The idea was the student would listen to the passage, having control over how they listened to it. They could listen to the whole passage, they could start the recording, pause as needs be, go back to the start as many times as they wished or required. Whilst they listened, the boys could type the passage into their preferred word processor. The boys could, if they wish, make use of the built-in dictionary and spell check. This is, after all, available to them in the real world. But it should be noted that the special needs boys tended not to make use of this. Mainstream students who undertook this task were more likely to make use of these tools. The instructions indicated that the boys would have 10 minutes to complete the task. Way too ambitious on their first attempt, but certainly achievable after a few goes. Once the task was completed, the boys saved their work as a PDF file. They were then directed to another wiki page from where they could download a PDF file with the correct version of the passage. Using the compare feature of Adobe Acrobat Professional, the boys could get an immediate comparison of their document with the original. Errors and omissions in spelling, grammar and punctuation were highlighted for them. The boys were asked by their teacher if they knew why certain aspects were highlighted, and for suggestions as to what the correct version might be. They were also provided with an opportunity to re-listen to the passage whilst viewing either the correct version of the document or their own attempt. This process was repeated over a few days. Each time the boys attempted the passage, improvements in spelling, grammar and punctuation were noted, as well as vast improvements in the time it took them to complete the task. The boys were always keen to go back for another go.
Today we are going to try something a little different. You are going to be listening to a passage read to you, that you will turn into a piece of writing.
This is a listening and writing task. You have 10 minutes to complete the exercise. Most people of my generation have fond memories of growing Were there any problems in the boys carrying out this task online?
For the first time, I had to show them how to open up the word process. Then I had to show them how to control the audio files. And then I had to show them how to switch applications.
So between the web browser and the word processor?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, they had to be taught how to switch on and off from there.
Okay.
And then the second time they were self-directed. It was easy. They found it easy, but at first they needed that push, just to show them how that they're special need boys. They need step-by-step instruction. So I showed them the way, and the second time it went through easy.
Yeah, excellent. Doing this task on the computer, how does this differ from maybe a traditional dictation task?
I've noticed that once the students start, they are engaged, and so I can move on to another student to start them off, or give them whatever support they need during that time while the other student is still engaged. Able to get an immediate feedback on their performance, and the teacher, myself and the students, we were able to question and answer there and then. They were also able to re-listen to the audio and compare.
Given our aim here is to try and improve the literacy levels of the boys, any observations about the boys' performance over the tasks?
I was able to see some noticeable improvement in the boys. One of the boys, in George especially, he was able to use technical languages in science. Thank you.